Behind the Shades.
I want you to understand that I'm not the 16-year-old, I'm sorry, a 13 to 16-year-old child that you once knew. I'm a grown man now with kids and responsibilities. So you will not do to them what you did to me and my brothers growing up. Because I want you to understand it is my responsibility to protect them. That was the first and only day that I've ever called my mother by her first name. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, I was scared as hell. I was so scared. But I was like, listen, and I said her first name. I said, these are my children. And if you attempt to do to them in any way, shape, form, or fashion what you did to me and my brothers, you will never see them again because they are my responsibility to protect. And if I have to protect them against you, so be it. And the look on her face was just like, oh, he is serious. So now we don't even play those types of games. When she wants to see her grandchildren, she makes it known. When she wants to FaceTime her grandchildren, she makes it known. And she always keeps her promises. Sometimes we got to learn to stand up to our parents because many of us harbor and hold that childhood mentality. Oh, I don't want to disappoint mom, or I don't want to disappoint dad. I don't want to make them mad. Well, guess what? I pay all my bills. You know what I'm saying? That brand new 2020 that's sitting outside, I'll pay for that. This 4-bedroom house I live in, I'll pay for this. You know what I'm saying? Them children that need school clothes and all that, I take care of that, not you. So I want you to understand there's some things that's not going to take place. And in doing so, it's not just, and I really want to hone in on this. So for everyone that's listening to the sound of my voice, that's going to watch this, as well as listen and consume this, I want you to understand it's not just about setting the boundary. It's about keeping to the boundary. Because you have some that will look at that boundary like, you tried to say, what? I'm so and so. I'm so and so. Well, guess what? I'm me. And either you're going to adhere or you're not going to be in my life. And recognize what you're asking the universe for. Because some people, they'll ask the universe for something, but then when the universe actually grants it, they're like, oh man, this is too much. You know, it's almost like be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, right? Because the energy that you're putting out there consistently into the atmosphere, that's what you're going to get to come back to you. So don't just, there was a song, I believe it was either Meek Mill or Drake, one of them said this. He said, I'm the type to say a prayer, then go get what I just prayed for. Then what you pray for it for? If you're going to circumvent the blessing, you know, because what we don't realize is that when we pray for things or when we ask for things, and I'm not very religious, but I am spiritual. I do want to put that out there. But when we ask the universe for things, when we make I'll put it this way, when we make declarations over our lives, right? We have to understand that there are times where we're going to have to elevate ourselves in order to become the person that we need to become in order to get said blessing. It's the same with boundaries. Sometimes in setting a boundary, we may not be the person that we need to be in that moment, right? To hold steadfast to that boundary. However, if we're actively doing the work, it's almost effortless.
I'm glad you mentioned boundaries and making sure that we adhere to it. It took me a while to start to enforce the boundary because anyone could come up with a boundary, right? Don't talk to me this way. Don't touch my food when I leave it in the kitchen. That chocolate cake in the fridge, that's mine, has my name on it, all this craziness, right? But when I knew I wanted my boundary was I broke free of seeing myself as a child around my family instead of I'm an adult man now. So you need to treat me as such. And you made a fantastic point when you said that there's still some people well into their 30s, well into their 40s, maybe even in their 50s, saying that I'm still my mom's son. I'm still my dad's little boy. But
Yep.
if you're gonna look at yourself that way, everyone's gonna look at yourself that way. And that's the
Yep.
importance of the boundary. So for you, when you had that conversation, was it difficult for you to say, or do you think it was more difficult for her to hear it?
Honestly, I think it was more difficult for her to hear it because we have this idea of, and I think it took for me to become a parent to realize that many of our parents, now I'm 31, but many of our parents, while they may not have done what we thought was the best, in a great deal of instances, they did the best with what they had, right? Now we can hold space for them being successful versus them failing, right? The reason why I believe it was harder for her to hear is because of the mentality that she had and the eyes that she was viewing me from. She was viewing me from teenage and adolescent eyes, whereby I was viewing her from adult eyes, from the standpoint of I'm a parent now. I'm actively serving this country in the United States Navy. I have a career. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to jive on anyone that has a job, but I have a career now. Essentially, what I'm saying is that my life is set up now. I got a family. So, in that, what I wanted to show her is that I'm the leader of my household. And I want you to understand that just as well as I will protect them from the world, I will protect them from you too. And I think it was hard for her to hear in that moment because I had never, and I don't want to use the word stepped because I don't like the framing of that. Assert. I had never asserted myself in that manner. And then, like I said her first name. That was scary in and of itself. I was like, I said it, but I was just like, oh, this ain't gonna smooth over well. But I was so like, the conviction that I had and in my opinion, the reason why I said it was more important than what I perceived her reaction to be from it in the long term. So I felt like it was worth whatever came along with that. And I felt like either one or two things could happen. Either one, you're going to say, okay, I respect that. And we chart a pathway forward to ensure that you are in your grandchildren's life. Or two, you were going to do what a great deal of parents have historically done to their children, which is gaslight them and make it seem as though I'm the parent. You don't talk to me like that. Well, guess what? I'm the parent now. I got children now that I got to take care of, that I'm responsible for. So all your children, they grown. They out doing their thing. 5 of the 6 of my brothers in the military. You know what I'm saying? One of them just retired, and one of them ended up getting out short of retirement. All great jobs, all have families. So I don't want to say your quote job is done. It's more so now you got grandchildren. These are who you have to, and the misconception that a lot of grandparents have is that they feel like they got to quote make up for lost time. When the reality is that all you have to do is bring new experiences. That's it. Don't try to correct with your grandchildren what you got wrong with your children, because guess what? Your children are going to see it. And they're going to call you on it. Or at least some will. Some will. They'll talk about it. They ain't going to talk about it to you. They're going to talk about it amongst their siblings. Hey, bro, let me tell you what mom said. You know, when we was growing up, shoot, that was X, Y, and Z. And realizing what healthy communication looks like moving forward, vice unhealthy communication and some sort of violence and or mistreatment in the household. Nah, we're not rocking with that.